Hi there, class 11 students. This is your teacher and guide, Mrs. Harpreet Kaur, and I've come up with the second part of the explanation chapter of the book Hornbil for class 11 under NCERT publication. I'm going to do explanation of the rest of the chapter from Hornbil. Discovering Tut, the saga continues. Let's see what happens further. We have read in the previous part that Tut's mummy was discovered by Howard Carter, and after 80 years of the discovery, the mummy was to be scanned. And we also read about Zahi Hawass' opinion about what Carter did with Tut's mummy at the time of discovery. And now let's read further what facts are provided to us about this boyish pharaoh Tut. Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Tut's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact beneath the resin that cakes his chest bone from ribs are missing. So here we are given about some facts about the changes in the archaeology. So the writer is of the opinion that archaeology has changed a lot during the intervening decades. Intervening decades stand for that the decades those have just passed, okay, 4-5 decades, 40-50 years back. Archaeology was quite different, but it has changed now. Now archaeology is stressing more on facts rather than treasure. So archaeologists are more after finding out the facts, intriguing mysteries of the dead, what happened at that time. After 40 years of the discovery of Tut's mummy, it was x-rayed and there was a very stunning fact was revealed that one of the bones in the breastbone was missing in the mummy. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of x-rays in cross-section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the x-ray? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die and how old was he at the time of death? Okay, CT scan stands for computed tomography. So that's the organ or the body part that is to under scrutiny is taken x-ray. Your complete mummy will be x-rayed and those x-ray images will be converted into 3D images, and in this way computerized image of the body would be formed, and they will be able to, the archaeologists and the forensic scientists would be able to dive deeper into the mystery, and they might be able to answer the two lingering questions, that how did he die and how old was he when he died. King Tut's demise was a great event even by royal standards. He was the last of his family's line and his funeral was the death rattle of dynasty. But the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. So when King Tut died, there was it was a great event from the royal standards also, because he was the last heir of his dynasty, and after his death everyone in his family would be fighting over the royal throne, and in this way his demise was a death rattle. But whatever happened at the time of his death is not clear. It is there is no evidence about there is no clear evidence what happened when King Tut died. Now the writer is going to tell us something about the history of King Tut. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. Stating some historical facts, family lineage in this paragraph, Amenhotep III was Tut's father or grandfather, and he was considered to be a very powerful ruler, and he ruled there for more than 4 decades when in the 18th century golden age of this Egyptian family that ruled Egypt at that time. And when after his ruling, when the kingdom was passed over to Amenhotep IV, he did something strange that changed the course of everything at that time. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk, changed his name from Akhenaten to Akhenaten, the servant of Aten, and moved the religious capital from old city of Thebes to new city Akhenaten, known as Amarna, to worship Ammon. And this new pharaoh Amenhotep IV asked everyone to not to worship Ammon, but they should start worshipping worshipping Aten, that is the sun disk. Okay, and not only this, he changed his name from Amenhotep to Akhenaten, the servant, which means the servant of Aten. And he also changed the religious capital from Thebes to Akhenaten, known as Amarna. Further shocked the country by attacking Ammon, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago Research Center in Luxor. The site of ancient Thebes, the family that had ruled for centuries, were coming to end. And then Akhenaten went a little wacky, okay, asking the people to change the worshipping god to worship some other god, and changing the capital from one place to another place was not sufficient. And what he did, what was the very strangest thing for the people that shocked them, was that he started attacking the major god, the temples of the major god Ammon. And one of the archaeologists, one of the historians, Ray Johnson, is of the opinion that must have been a very terrific period for the subject of the country, for the people of the country. And the family that ruled for centuries in Thebes were about to end. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Smerkhere appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. And then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne. King Tut, as he is widely known today, the boy king, soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Ammon, and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. He reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. After Akhenaten's death, mysterious ruler, another ruler named Smerkhere was ruled the kingdom for a very short period, and after him Tutankhaten was made to sit on the throne and take charge of the kingdom. And King Tut, this boy's Pharaoh, tried to restore the previous things that were in practice with while his the ancestors were ruling this kingdom. So he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun, and he tried to amend the things that was being done by his father. But he reigned only for 9 years, and after that he died unexpectedly. Regardless of his fame, the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many? No one knows. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has discovered almost 600 so far and is still counting. So here we are getting the fact about the collection of the mummies. The Egyptian Mummy Project was started, and they started to begin an inventory. Inventory means recording, to keep the record. Okay, so till now they have recorded 600 mummies that they have excavated in Egypt. The next phase, scanning of mummy with a portable CT machine donated by National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturers. Okay, now after this after the facts that are provided to us, now the writer has taken us to the CT scan process that was about to happen on King Tut's mummy. So it says this scanner, the CT scan machine, was donated by National Geographic Society, and Siemens are the manufacturer. So they donated this CT scan machine for the purpose of scanning of King Tut's mummy. So his mummy was to be scanned. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in that, as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. So this is the first mummy that has been scanned. Even there wasn't any scanning facility when the King Tut was ruling. So he was the first person to be scanned in death and as in life. Okay, so in life also nobody got scanned. So in this way he was ahead of his countrymen. A CT machine scanned mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. Tut's had scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures, takes on every detail in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddess of the gilded burial shrine protected so long. Okay, so here the writer is giving us the detail about how the scanning process, what was to be done. Small slices of the body were scanned, and in this way they made the resulting image, and the team of radiologists, forensic scientists, anatomy professors, etc. They started probing into as soon as the scanning was over and the 3D images was made, and they started probing into the details of the death, and they wanted to know, they started getting to know about the secrets that were prevailing with King Tut's demise. The night of scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, 2 men emerged, sprinted from an office nearby, and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in the cooler fan. Curse of Pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. Okay. So what happened, how the scanning process was taken. It was for the first time. It was the king Tut was taken from his resting place and was taken to the chamber where the scanner was kept, and he was raised from his resting place and taken in a hydraulic lift. Okay. And while the mummy was being scanned, a problem cropped up. That was that $1 million scanner stopped working because of sand in the cooler fan. But they just took another set of fans, and everything went well. One of the guards, those who were on duty, he said jokingly that it is the curse of Pharaoh. Eventually, substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over the workman, who carried him back to his tomb less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin. The Pharaoh again rested in peace where funerary priest had laid him so long ago. Okay, so in this paragraph we are getting the information regarding the how the scanning completion was restored after the fan stopped working and everything went well, and the scanning process took more than less than 3 hours. Okay, and within those time the king Pharaoh was taken back to his resting place where he was laid by the funerary priest a very long ago. In the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. A grey hat took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun tilted it in every direction. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of ribcage, and a transection of skull. But for now, the pressure was off. Sitting back in the chair, Zahi smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go to sleep. Astonishing images were seen on the computer, and they were watching how the making of the body by the computer. Each and every part of the body was being reconstructed, and soon everything was quite clear to the archaeologists, those who were present there. And but Zahi was a little relieved because he was heading this CT scan, and he was under a great pressure that something should not be happened, as some religious sentiments were also connected with this CT scan, because the Pharaoh was considered to be the most auspicious person in Egyptian history. And so he was really worried about, and he was a little tensed about the curse story, the curse tale also. And after everything went well, Zahi took a sigh of relief, and he told everyone that he didn't sleep the last night, and to that day he was going to sleep, going to have a sound sleep. So we have reached the last paragraph of the chapter. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The winter air lay cold and still, like death itself. And in this valley of departed, just above the entrance of Tut's tomb, stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So everything was over. So at the time when they were leaving the trailer, they noticed one thing. They just looked up in the sky, and they saw that the constellation Orion, that is considered to be the soul of Osiris, that was the god of afterlife, and they just felt that as if that God was watching everything, that everything should go well when the scanning was going on, and that Pharaoh should not be disturbed at all. Okay. So that is all in this chapter. Discovering Tut, the saga continues. The title itself says that the saga continues. The story is still continuing from the discovery of the mummy, and till date many of the things have been going on the Tut's mummy to discover the lingering mysteries that are yet to be discovered by the archaeologists. So this saga will be continuing, and archaeologists will be keep on probing into the details of the kingdom and other things that are related to King Tut. So that's all in this chapter, and we'll meet again in the next chapter explanation. But before I leave, I would like to ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly consider subscribing it, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates of my videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.